Hi, everyone. I'm Ash with the Wellness and Fitness Center here at Ivy Tech. And due to the fact that today is a snow day, I'm going to be recording for you from home. So we are going to move back to our yoga mats, and I'm going to show you today some ways to use props in your practice. Props are really important in yoga. They help us to release deeper into a posture. Often I find that students are hesitant to use props for a couple of reasons. One, they've never been shown how to use props in their practice and how to use them to assist their practice. And the other thing is ego gets in the way sometimes. We desperately want to be able to go fully into that posture just with our bodies. And the problem with that is that, well, for one, you're sort of missing the point of yoga, because yoga is listening to your body and adjusting so that you may get a deeper posture and may sink a little deeper into the practice. But it also inhibits your ability to actually fully experience the posture and the pose if you don't also know when to take the time to use your props. I've been doing yoga for well over 20 years. I still use props in a lot of postures because there's certain things that my body just isn't ready for some days. Yoga is really a practice of learning day to day, moment to moment, being present in your body, in your space, in your breath, and allowing yourself to take what you need most while you're in your practice. So I'm going to go ahead and move back to my mat. You're welcome to join me on your mat or watch this video just for future information. And I'm actually taking a prop with me right now. This is my meditation cushion. Now, if you don't have one of these, and I know we don't have them there at Ivy Tech, but you could absolutely, if you have one at home, bring it with you for your practice. But you can also take one of our yoga blankets and fold it to sit on. Now, what this does in simple seated is it actually allows your hips to release a little more. So if you're someone who, when you sit on your mat, you notice like you're really uncomfortable, and what translates from Sanskrit as easy seat, but is not always so easy. If you notice that your knees lift a lot, that you have trouble sitting comfortably in this posture, taking a folded blanket or a block is another option for this, and placing it below your hips allows for that opening to occur a bit more naturally. It allows for a little more ease, and it allows this muscle tissue to know that it's okay to soften. Because often what's happening when we're really tight in a posture and uncomfortable because of that tightness is that our body doesn't recognize that it's okay to let it go, that it's okay to soften. So allowing those props to be that cue for your brain to be like, okay, we can let go here, we can settle into this, is a really important skill. So here, just using either a cushion, a blanket, or a block is a great way to assist. Something else, so your strap. We use a strap a lot in our practice. And there are hundreds of uses for the yoga strap. I'm going to show you a couple here. So one is, if it's really uncomfortable for you to lift your arms, like say you have a lot of tension in your shoulder and neck, and this is not an easy thing to hold, because for some of us it's not, taking a strap that's been folded over and having that as something to have some tension and grip of can actually alleviate some of that strain of holding. And I know that seems odd, but it's absolutely true. It's like it tricks your brain into being like, oh, I'm hanging on to something physically, as opposed to I am holding this here in space. So knowing that you can use your strap anytime we come in for these sorts of movements, taking a back bend, whatever you need. The other great use for a strap in a seated posture is when we come in to staff pose. So in staff pose, a couple of things we want to make sure is that we're not sitting back here. We want our alignment to be that our spine is directly over our hips, shoulders sit over our hips, heels straight out from the hips here, and we're pressing out actively with our feet. We don't want to be relaxed here. If we're relaxed here, we're dumping out. We're not fully active in the posture. Now, just like those other ones, this one can be a really easy way to sit for some people and a super uncomfortable way for others. Totally depends on what's going on in your body. So you can take a strap around the balls of your feet, just right there below your toes. Hold on to that strap. Pull those shoulders and elbows back. Come up a little taller through your spine and allow yourself that support. Now, another option here is to actually hook the strap. And this one's not quite long enough. Sometimes you have to take 2 straps to do this with. But you can actually anchor it around your hips and set up tall. And this allows your body to start to learn this alignment. So taking that when you're in staff, and another option with that is when we take a forward fold in staff, holding on here, coming up nice and tall through the spine on your inhale. So you're actually lifting that rib cage up a little higher. And then on your exhale, you're hinging here from your hip, allowing your hands to walk you down the strap. Now you might just take it, you might be right here. This might be as far as you go in that fold, and that's 100% okay. That's where your body is comfortable. That's your edge for the posture for that moment. You might even find from there on an exhale that your body allows you to drop a little deeper as your fascia, as your muscle memory starts to let go. Taking those hands down, finding that stretch, and then releasing out. Now, you can also take it just around the ball of one foot. And we often do this where we bring, like this is my right foot, bringing this in to the thigh. Strap is around the ball of that left foot. Now, just like in simple seated, when I mentioned that sometimes our knees pop up because we've got some tightness in our hips, if that's the case for you and it kind of sends your pelvis out of balance in this posture, here's a great place to use a block. You can place a block below that knee to help hold yourself. Now, we want to make sure that we're not shooting out over here into the middle of space, because often we want to turn where our pelvis is. From here, we want to turn and center ourselves over that extended leg. Again, we're holding on, we're coming up nice and tall through the spine. We're letting those shoulders and elbows drop back. And you can stay right here. I'm going to remove my block because my knee does drop. Come up nice and tall, and on an exhale, once again, from those hips, working your way forward down the strap to support you. Now, once again, if this is something that you're just starting to work into and you want to start to give your body that muscle memory, taking 1 or 2 straps, hooking them together, and just allowing yourself to sit in this for a while, nice and tall through your spine, just starting to get your body accustomed to a posture is just as important as dropping into the folds with it. From here, I'm going to show you one last assistant with the block. So when we're on our backs reclined and we start to come into bridge pose, so often what I'll see students, especially new students, do is when they press up into bridge pose, their knees splay apart, their feet lift from the mat. And we want to stay in alignment as we rise up and fall down. So a great way to get that muscle memory in your body and to support this posture is to actually take your block between your knees, squeeze your knees together, creating that resistance point here for your body. And then as you inhale, because you've got that resistance, you come up a little straighter. To exhale, you stay in alignment. Another option with bridge pose with the block is to take a restorative supported version of bridge, where you lift the hips and place the block directly below your hips. So what we don't want here is we don't want to be up in our back. This is not where this goes. That actually causes the curvature of your lumbar spine to go a little too far. So taking it right below the hips, right under your pelvis here. You can stay right here in the supported bridge pose. And I often teach this at the end of class for those of you who have been to my classes or may be interested in attending. And there's a couple of other places you can go with this. So you can leave, I'm going to leave my left foot on the mat. And on an exhale, I'm going to hug my right knee in. Just taking that. Now, if this feels good and you want to take it further, you can start to straighten that left leg, finding wherever that edge point is for you and pausing there to breathe. Now, you may find that you can take the leg completely straight and take the foot active, or that you need to keep a bend to that knee and the foot on the floor. Either is fine, just allowing for that opening in your body here. Now from there, you can also, on an exhale, bring your knees towards your body, coming into this posture here, where the edge of the block is pressing along your SI joint. Now, if you have a lot of like stiffness in your hips and especially your glutes, this can be a great way to allow for acupressure release to occur. So just taking a real slow, gentle rock of your knees side to side, allowing for that muscle tissue to release a bit. And then from there, you can take a version of legs up the wall without the wall. So you can take the feet active here, or you can keep a subtle bend and just let your toes float up, whichever feels best and serves the purpose of your practice. Taking this here allows for that inversion practice. It's a supported inversion. When you come out of this, you want to exhale, allow the knees to drop back towards your chest. Pause for a breath, and then let the feet come back down to that supported bridge. Now, if you'd like to come into a supported back bend here that's a little deeper than the one you're already in, because bridge is a back bend, you can lift the hips a little higher, tip your block to that next height level, hang out here for a bit. You can even take that again and see how that feels in your body. You might have to hold on to your block a bit here. Make sure you're steady. And you can go ahead and take it to that third level and come on up here. Again, if this is accessible for your body, only going to that point that is accessible for you personally. Now, right here, as you're in an extended bridge, you can also place a block between your knees if you'd like to get that full experience of bridge pose. Again, you can hold on to that block if you feel balanced. Bring one or both knees in and take the legs up if that's something you feel comfortable with. As you come out of this, you want to come back down the way you came in. So dropping, pausing to breathe, giving your body time to reacquaint itself on each level. Giving yourself a little time to release out. And then as you come all the way down, students often notice they might have a little bit of tension in their low back from all of that back bending. So hugging those knees in and rocking yourself gentle side to side here is an excellent way to counter the back bend. Because believe it or not, having your knees hugged in while you're on your back technically counts as a forward fold. I hope you've enjoyed this little video about using props in your practice. And of course, if you ever have any questions about ways to assist your practice, even when we're in class at Ivy Tech, I'm more than happy to show you what you need to do. Just, mention it. Don't hesitate to ask. So thank you very much for joining me for this practice. A little bit of learning for your day. And I hope to see you in the studio soon.